Hey, this episode of the Adventist Millennial Podcast is sponsored by The Haystack. The Haystack is a voice for young adults in the Seventh-day Adventist Church that produces articles, music reviews, videos, and more. What's the and more? Well, you'll have to go to their website to find out. thehaystack.org. The Haystack. Life, culture, theology.
Hi there. Welcome back to the podcast. It's May. Can you believe it? The year is practically half gone already. And this podcast hasn't improved one iota. And yet, here you are. Guys, I'm thinking maybe I want to do another Q&A episode. So if you have any questions, please send them to me. You can send them to me at on Facebook, via Instagram, via Twitter, at SDA Millennial. You can email them to me at adventistmillennial@gmail.com. You can send them by carrier pigeon. You can Morse code them to me over the wire. You know, really any way you want to send me questions, that would be fine with me. And they can be about anything. They can be about religion. They can be about culture. They can be about, you know, like Bitcoin. I don't really know a lot about Bitcoin, but I can wax retarded on any subject. So yeah, send me your questions, and I'll probably post about it too on social media and hopefully gather a few questions. Cool. What else has been going on with you guys? I really feel like I haven't heard from you in a long time, in the sense that this is like a one-way communication here, so I don't really know who you are or where you're at or what you're doing or what's happening in your life, but I hope it's going well for you, I guess. To be honest, do I care? I mean, yes, I care. I don't want to undermine my topic for today. We're going to talk about the difference between liking humans and liking people. I'm sure you already know the difference, but we're just going to walk through it because it's quite profound, if I do say so myself. And then we're going to talk about why we don't actually need to convert people. All you Adventists out there, listen here and listen good. We don't need to convert people. That's not the gospel commission. Okay, so let's just jump right into it. All right, everybody knows here, this podcast is me airing all of my flaws in the public eye. So this should come as no surprise that one of my constant trains of thought is the various ways in which I fall short and how I can try to improve those. But one thing that's been eating away at me lately has been, where do you draw the line between trying to become a better version of yourself and just like knowing your limitations? Because on one hand, the world tells us that whatever our nature is, you know, however you just are, just accept that and tell everyone else to accept it too. And then on the other hand, Christianity tells us that we're never, ever good enough, no matter what, until we're like this mirage of perfection that's unreachable, but that you should still reach because maybe it's reachable, but not really. So, like, where's the actual true thing? Is it somewhere in the middle of, you know, realizing that we're fallen humans, but also not accepting how we came out half-baked and trying to always improve upon the canvas that we've been given? Yeah, so I do try hard to identify my flaws and work on them, but I feel like some of them are just completely a lost cause. Like, I know that my interpersonal connections are severely lacking. And I've talked to you guys about this before. It should come as no surprise. But it's something that I wish I could be better at, that I want to be better at. And I can see objectively what I would need to do to become better at it, but I just can't seem to do it. Like, I'll be sitting at home self-reflecting on how I can become a better person, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go out and be fun and like take an interest in people and chit chat and shoot the shit and people will love me. And then I actually get out around people and I'm more like, everyone, GTFO, I don't want to see any of you. So what do you guys think? Like, I want to know your thoughts on what's unchangeable about ourselves and what's changeable. Is this just an area that I'll never thrive at and so I should just like give up? Or am I just being too stubborn about actually wanting to change? I have a theory about this that I've been kicking around, but I don't know if it's solid, so let me know what you think. You guys tell me. But first of all, Google be spying, people. I was talking with a couple of friends about this on WhatsApp, about like what makes people likable and charisma and stuff. I've talked about it on this podcast before too. But I was talking to a couple of people and I never searched anything related to this on Google or YouTube or anything. I was just texting about it. And lo and behold, a video about charisma, how to be charismatic, about Emilia Clarke. Yes, the Queen of Dragons, Dragon Princess, Queen, Lady. I don't watch Game of Thrones. You know who I'm talking about, Daenerys. Anyway, a video about her popped up in my YouTube suggested videos about how you can become more charismatic by using these social cues that Emilia Clarke tends to use, which makes everyone like her. Anyway, so obviously Google was spying on my texting, but that's besides the point. What I wanted to say about it was that they were describing the things that make people likable. Like, you know, we all know these things. Smiling, touching people, laughing a lot, echoing back what people say back to them, being vulnerable, like being self-deprecating and all that sort of thing. And so it got me thinking about if that's actually what makes people likable. Because there are some people that do all of those things and still somehow they're off-putting. At some point, even if they're doing all the things, you can tell if it's not genuine, I guess. Or, I don't know. Here's my theory about it. I think it's the difference between liking humans and liking people. Maybe you know where I'm going with this. But where are all my Your Story Hour listeners at, guys? Do you guys remember that one true to life story where there's a girl, I can't remember her name, Joanna, or is that the girl who was nice at home and mean at home and nice at school? Anyway, this girl in Your Story Hour was like at school and she was having trouble making friends, and there was this one really popular girl who everybody liked, and she was wondering why this popular girl was so nice to her, and she was like homely apparently. I forgot that part of the story, but my brother was telling me that was part of the story, that nobody could understand why they liked her, because she was ugly. Anyway, it ended up, this is what they say in the story. She was genuinely interested in everyone, and that's what made her so popular, and everybody liked her, because she actually liked everyone else. And so she's teaching this other girl who has no friends about genuinely being interested in everyone. Just go listen to the Your Story Hour. You'll know what I'm talking about. The point is, I was wondering why some people who love people are still like grading. Maybe this is just me, but I'm sure you know some people like this. Some people are like that and some aren't. And some people who hate people, when you get to know them, me, are actually pretty endearing, hopefully. So I was thinking, it's not as much about personality or like the social cues that you use. I think it's really about whether you're the Your Story Hour girl. If you're actually interested in and care about other people on a personal level, people can tell. People can identify that. Like, that's the difference between just a personality who likes people and actually caring about other people. You all know the types of people I'm talking about. They just like to have people around. They like other humans. They need to be around other humans. And you can do all the superficial things that cue people that you're interested in them, which is usually what people who like people do. But then if you just want people around because they're people, not because you actually care about them, people will pick up on that too. It becomes evident at some point. You can always tell if someone wants you around just because you're a warm body, or if they actually care about you. And then on the other hand, if you're like me and you don't like other humans at all and your personality is completely averse to human interaction, but you can get over it because despite the fact that they're horrifying humans, you actually like individuals on a personal level. Like, I do care about people, and and even though it puts the fear of God in me to have to interact, it just makes it a little harder to realize that I care about people because I don't like humans, but I like people. And it will become evident too at some point if you stick around long enough, despite the off-putting introductions. So yeah, I think there's two parts. The personality part where you just like humans or you don't like humans. And then there's the actual character part where you care about people or you don't care about people. Now, if you're someone that has a personality that loves humans and you also love people, well then that makes you mega likable because you have all of the social behaviors that draw people in, but then they're also backed up by the fact that you actually care about them. Even if you're homely, like the girl in your story, or despite your ugliness, people will be drawn to you. And on the flip side, if you hate humans, if your personality just really doesn't like people, and you also hate individuals, well then you're basically just Brie Larson at that point. And all of this segues nicely into the next topic that I wanted to talk about. Let me know what you think about this theory, if you agree or disagree on the difference between liking humans and liking people. But anyway, so segueing, this is why I think we don't actually need to convert people. That's right, Adventists, you heard me. I'll say it again. We don't actually need to convert people, not only to become Adventists, but even to become Christians, because converting people is like the religious equivalent of the need to be around people but not actually liking those people. Like in Christianity, we need to save everyone so that they can agree with us and get the stamp of approval, the correct stamp in their heavenly passport. But we rarely actually treat people well and love them and show them why we actually follow Jesus. We just tell them why instead of showing them why. So Christianity is like the person that needs people around but kind of actually hates everyone. and it's not what Jesus did, which is the irony of calling ourselves Christians and not acting Christ-like. Jesus didn't go around telling people all of the wrong things that they thought. Except the scholars, because dunking on those elitists is just like hella good times. But the people who were searching, the people who needed something, Jesus just treated really well. He showed them that he loved them instead of telling them all the things about how to be and how to do and what to believe and why he probably loved them. He actually showed them. And all of you dyed-in-the-wool Adventists know, I'm not saying that we need to love people and be kind while also teaching them all the correct doctrine. I'm not saying that. I'm saying we actually don't need to convert people to our denomination. Full stop. And no, on the other side, you Adventist renegades, I'm also not saying that we should just be love and, kindness and then spit on Adventist theology and all of the tradition stuff because, the power of love or whatever. Surprise! This might shock you to find out, but I'm back to talk about the separation between religion and reality. This separation makes it so that the reason why just love people isn't good enough for traditional Adventism, and we have to actually then go and tell them a lot of things in addition to just being good people. The reason why just loving people isn't enough is because our theology doesn't accept the simplicity of that gospel. We also have a lot of other boxes to tick and hoops to jump through before we can actually love people. And it doesn't accept the reality. Our traditional teaching, our traditional Adventist way of life doesn't accept the reality that if you live out unselfishness, that's literally all you have to do. And people will see it. They'll see that you actually care and that you actually love people the way Jesus loved people. And you don't have to preach a sermon. You don't have to do anything else, because that confirms what they already know is reality, which is life works better when you love people unselfishly. And at the same time, what gets thrown around by the people who have identified a problem in theology, and therefore just tossed out the whole thing, what gets thrown around as loving people is also a lie a lot of the time. Like what I was talking about earlier, how the world tells us we just need to be who we are and accept everyone in their fallen state, and don't burden yourself with broken doctrine, and don't try to change, you're just who you are and God created you that way, and yada yada yada. That's also the same disconnect, but just from the other end. If you're trying to act out love without realizing what that actually says about the nature of reality and how the world works, then it just ends up becoming selfishness again. Like loving people for the sake of self-service, or for how it makes you feel, or for what we think it should do for them, or any number of things. It's the real true gospel is realizing and seeing that loving people and living your life acting out unselfish love to everyone that you meet actually says something really philosophically and theologically deep that our religion and theology has rejected, which is that God doesn't really require a lot of us except that we be as he is, love. And that sort of negates all of our little, structural things that we've created over time. But then at the same time, it's hard for us to reduce it down to that, because we easily lose sight of the one thing that we have to do, which is be unselfish, and turn loving other people into actually being a selfish thing. So guys, what I'm saying is, despite the fact that I hate humans and I don't want to see any people and get out of my field of vision, I do actually like people. Individuals, and I care about what's happening to people, and I want to treat people well, and I want to be unselfish and to be kind, and hopefully that comes through if people can get through the prickly exterior, if I can break through the tendencies of my personality to really let people know. Well, that's the beauty of podcasting, right? I can sit here in my room with nobody around, not having to see or interact with any people, not having to hear your side of the conversation, because this is just a one-way communication, as I said, and enjoy my my pearls of wisdom dropped on you from my tower of wisdom. But no, seriously, go out there, show people. I don't know, doesn't Ellen White call it like disinterested love, where like you don't want anything from the other person, you just are trying to love them and to care for them and to show them that you're there to support them in whatever they need, and let that be enough. I don't need anything from you people. I'm just here to serve up this apple pie for whales. I don't know, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think about my theory of loving humans versus people. And let me know, do you love humans and people, or one or the other, or neither? Are you Brie Larson? Also, let me know what you think about the whole internet controversy over Brie Larson. Is she really as despicable as all that? Is it a marketing ploy? Let me know what you think. Also, I would like to know your thoughts on the line between living with our limitations, our human limitations, and realizing those and not wasting time in areas that we're never going to improve versus trying to change every aspect of ourselves and constantly reach for that mirage of a perfect humanity where we become the person that, we imagine we should be or whatever. Yeah, where's the middle ground there? Okay. Thank you for attending this important podcast meeting, and I will catch you guys in the next one. This episode was brought to you by rice. Rice is a delicious snack and healthy. You can also use it as tape or glue if you run out because it's so sticky. There's also a thing called sticky rice and sweet rice. So, thank you, rice. Use the offer code of rice next time you buy some to get a 20% discount. Try it. I dare you.